Just this morning, Adrian Peterson was released by Washington. Peterson played 15 games and led the team in rushing last season with over 800 yards. The All-Pro running back has the 5th most career rushing yards with just over 14,000. Reggie Bush still with us. So, Reggie, where would you rank AP among all-time running backs?
AP is one of the best to ever do it. When I think about the memories that I have playing against him, I go back to college when we played Oklahoma in a national championship game. And I remember that whole week leading up, all we did was watch film on Adrian Peterson and watch film on just the way he ran the football, the way he finished his runs, just the passion and the purpose that he ran with. And then fast forward to the NFL when I got a chance to play against him when he was in Minnesota a number of times. And my most memorable game against him was against in the NFC Championship game, where it came down to a last-minute field goal where we're in battles. And I have to say this, man, I've always been a tremendous fan of Adrian Peterson, even to the point to where there were times in games where I would see him in highlights, doing things, running people over, and I would try to go and replicate that the next week or in practice. And that's how much respect I had for him, because there was always that friendly competition, whether we were on the football field or whether I was watching him in the highlights, running over guys, stiff-arming guys. I mean, his stiff arms were nasty. And just the way that, again, he finished his runs, to me, Adrian Peterson is one of the best to ever do it. Obviously, he ranks, I believe, 5th all-time in rushing yards, 4th in all-time in rushing touchdowns. And so what it really comes down to for fans is he a tier 1 where you putting him in the same conversation as Walter Payton, Jim Brown, Emmitt Smith, or are you putting him in the same category and conversation as Marshall Faulk or LaDainian Tomlinson? He's somewhere in there. I believe all those running backs, again, are the best to ever do it. And I believe Adrian Peterson fits right in there somewhere. And he's been able to have a great career. Nobody has had, I think, a better career than Adrian Peterson. He's been able to play, till he's 34, 35 years old. And that's something to be said for as a running back in this league. A lot of running backs don't get that opportunity. So to me, Adrian Peterson is one of the best to ever do it. And he's somebody I really, appreciate.
It's not that he's 34, but his style of running, and he was able to play till he was 34, Skip.
That's true.
He was a collision. He ran to contact.
Yeah.
Normally, guys that run to contact, Earl Campbell, didn't play, Skip. I think he played like 7, 8 years.
True.
Yeah.
When you look at it, as you mentioned, he's 5th in rushing. And I believe, had he not been on the commissioner's exempt list, Skip, remember, he missed, 14, 15 games that year.
Yeah.
He hurt his knee and missed another 13 games. So that's 27 games. And that's kind of like in his prime. So you probably robbed him of another, 3,000 yards? Let's just say 2,500 yards. So he gets 1,200 yards each year, so 2,500. So instead of 14,000, you're looking at 16,000. We talked about this, Skip. I think we had this conversation about a month ago, and we talked about, was he going to break Emmitt? And I said, I don't see it, Skip. I just don't see it. I don't know if he's going to get enough attempts, and I don't know if he's going to be able to hold on long enough.
Yeah.
And so now that he's been released, he's probably going to have to go somewhere else. Do I see him getting another 4,000 yards rushing? I don't. I just don't. And for me, as far as running back, you mentioned Jim Brown, Walter Payton. You taking him over Barry, ED, and Skip. I know it's kind of sacrilegious to mention his name, but I'm just talking about in a football context.
Do it. I'm with you. Just say it. O.J. Simpson. Thank you.
Man, Reggie, I know this before your time.
No, Reggie knows.
When I was growing up, you wanted to be O.J. Everybody, you was fighting to get 32 in Pee Wee football. And man, look here, even Lyman was trying to get 32. I'm like, dude, you block it. What you talking about, you O.J.? You're not no O.J. True. He was special.
True.
And so for me, I agree, you like LT and Marcus, Earl Campbell, Tony Dorsett, but I don't know if I can put him in front of Jim Brown, Walter, Barry, Emmitt, and ED and O.J. I can't put him there.
Yeah. Okay. Back to Reggie Bush. Can you please tell our viewers, Mr. Bush, what the score of that Oklahoma-USC national championship game was, please?
Come on, Skip. I don't want to remind the man, but it was a lot to a little.
It was a lot to a little. I can't remember it because I'm an Oklahoma fan and I don't want to remember, but it seemed like it was 55-14 or something. It was like 40-0 at halftime. And it was reported you guys were all laughing in your locker room at halftime because it was a mismatch.
We were.
Okay. So just for the record, I watched Adrian Peterson all through college. And at times, I must admit, he frustrated me because he's a high carry back that you have to be patient with.
Yes.
You have to let him bang away and bang away and bang away. And if USC blitzes you in the first quarter and jumps out to a 21-0 lead, he's rendered obsolete.
Yes.
It's over and out.
You got to throw it now.
I have the greatest respect for everything Reggie loved about Adrian and what you brought up. You want to talk about a workout warrior. You want to talk about high contact, high collision warrior on the football field, the passion he played with, the endurance, the longevity. It's extraordinary. Now we're back to this is beauty in the eye of the beholder.
Yes.
Okay? This is my list. You know how I feel about our man, Eric Dickerson. It's not because he's our man. All he did was set the single-season rushing record, which still stands, and he set the playoff rushing record against my Dallas Cowboys that still stands, 248 yards. Well, Adrian, in 5 playoff games, averaged 3.6 a carry. It's not all-time great.
No.
Is he up in the top 10, as you point out? Yes. He's in the top 10. But I go, Eric Dickerson, I'm going to say it again. O.J. Simpson, I know what he did off the... We get all that. But he was all-time great.
All-time.
Jim Brown was all-time.
Yeah.
He dominated this league for the short career that he played, but it was like maybe 8 years.
I think he played, Well, he led the league 8 of the 9 years.
Yes, he did. Okay, but he dominated for 8 years.
Yes.
Emmitt Smith, just on pure longevity, I've never seen anything like it. One game for my life, would I take Tony Dorsett over Emmitt Smith? I would, because I covered Tony Dorsett, and he was electrifying.
Right.
But Emmitt, you have to give him his due.
Right.
You have to rank him. I got him 4th, and Barry Sanders was obviously special. I can't not put him in my top 5. And then there's Walter, and then maybe Adrian somewhere in that 7-ish range. But again, I don't want to diminish what he did.
No, he was... I mean, rookie of Skip, MVP, rookie of the year, 2,000-yard rush season, 7 Pro Bowls, 4 first-team All-Pros. And Skip, like I said, I believe, had he not been on the commissioner's exempt list for 14, 15 games, he doesn't hurt his knee and miss another 13 games. He might now we might be on to something, Reggie, where you're talking about, you know what, he has an outside shot because you're talking about maybe 2,500, 2,700 yards, and now he's at 17,000 with about 1,200 to go. So I think he would...
Do we believe he's done? Do we believe somebody will give him a shot?
Maybe.
I believe that he's probably done. I believe, a team, right now, somebody's going to have to get hurt in order for him to get a shot somewhere. But, I think when you talked about the MVP for a running back, I mean, that's special, man. To win an MVP in a QB-driven league, right? To be able to go out there